Disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a certified mechanic, and anything you attempt to fix on your car after watching this video is at your own risk. I do not condone drinking while working on or driving your vehicle. Welcome everyone, this is Hoopties and Brewskis with Chris Harris, if you don't know me. Today we're going to actually be working on my daily driver. It's an Acura RSX base model, nothing too special, but it still gets me to point A to point B, and that's all that matters, right? And it gets pretty decent gas mileage, and it's a stick shift, so it's fun. So I'm going to show you how to change out a power steering pump for this car. Of course, every car is different. I'm actually going to be going by the factory service manual, which I've found on the there's an RSX forum, and the members there have it posted for people like myself to use it for repairs such as change out your power steering pump. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started and change out this pump. Also guys, there's a big old frog that popped out when I was moving my jack, so he may make an appearance. We might have a special guest, we'll see. Fingers crossed he doesn't, because I love frogs, I love animals, they're cool, but I don't want to climb it on me while I'm working on the car, you know what I'm saying? So, but let's take a look at the engine. Remember, every time you work on the vehicle, always undo the negative battery terminal. It just, helps you stay safe. Just in case a fan cut on, if you have an electrical fan, things like that. It's always a safe thing, or if the engine cut on. It's always what I've been taught, and I've always gone with it. So, make sure you do it. So, this is the power steering pump, right here. And what we're going to have to do is take these bolts off, drain the fluid, because this is where the fluid comes from. And, oftentimes when you hear the noise, people are like, check your fluid levels. My fluid's pretty good. Like, it's pretty solid. So there's something else going on in here. Maybe the bearing that, this pulley is spinning around. That's probably going bad. And whenever you turn the wheel, it's being used. So you're putting stress on the whole power steering system. And that's why I'm only hearing it when I'm turning the wheel. All right, so prostate check, anyone? Just kidding. Anyways, so gloves are on, they're nitrile. We're gonna pump this out. Another thing that you probably know that I'm missing is safety goggles, because this stuff's bad for your skin. Imagine what it'll do to your eyes. So go ahead, start pumping. This is a cool little pump here. It tells you in and out. Got it from Harbor Freight. This is on sale, about $7.99. It's a pretty good deal. That's before taxes, of course. And it's just about pumped out, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and start taking stuff apart. Now that we have the fluid drain, I'm gonna go ahead and take the hoses from this off, unbolt this reservoir, move it out the way so I have some more room here, and then there should be a little drive pulley there, down there. I don't know if you can see it, but basically I'm going to put a wrench on that. The manual calls for a special tool by Snap-on, but I don't got Snap-on money, y'all. I'm just a poor boy trying to get his Honda back on the road. So I'll just use a wrench, try my best. We'll see what happens. If not, we'll have to make a trip to AutoZone or Advance and get a rent-a-tool. It's free, it's just inconvenient. All right, so what I have here is a 3/8 drive ratchet and 10mm deep well socket. I like deep wells. They're a little bit, if you have the option to, it just gives you a little bit more ease, to break the bolts loose. I think it gives you a little bit more leverage, but that could just be my cycle. It might be something that's just, not true, but anyways. So we'll take this off, bada bing, bada boom. it's always good when you're removing bolts to put them back in the hole if possible. That's a great way I keep track of where all my bolts are supposed to go. Because I mean, each bolt has, for the most part, a purpose, and that's why it's in that bolt, whether it be the size, the shape, the strength of it. I tend not to argue with engineers. So if the engineer put that type of bolt here, you know what? I'm gonna put that bolt back where that engineer designed to put it. That's how you do it. Anyways, all right, so this is moved out of the way. We got another hose here. I did not see that, so we'll get that moved out of the way and then get some room here to work on this bad boy. Reservoir is moved. Woohoo! Easy peasy. All right, so now we are going to move this. There's like a little spring in this here that when you move this, it relieves the tension off the serpentine belt so we can take it off of the power steering pump. So I don't have the fancy tool the manual calls for. My assumption is because, well, not that my assumption is why I don't have the tool. I mean, obviously I don't have the tool because I'm not a rich mechanic, but anyways, because I'm gonna see, I think this will be okay. I think I need to add some more. Son of a... Another tip, great tool for when you lose bolts or tools. It is a extendable magnet. That's what we're gonna use to get that wrench that I just dropped. Oh, look at that. Unless of course your tools aren't metal, then you're SOL, unfortunately. I don't know how you would get that back up, but watch this magic trick.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every...
Turns out I did have a snap-on tool. Suck it! Just kidding, this isn't the right tool, but this will work. Unless you have cheap tools, then this might break them. I don't have the cheapest or the most expensive, so we'll see. So definitely wear safety goggles for this one. So we're gonna try this out. I'm not gonna catch this on camera because if something goes bad, I don't want you guys to see it. So you'll know if the belt's off, if it worked or not. And that bad boy is off. See, look at that. It didn't get torn up or anything. I'm proud of myself. Be proud of me. I hope you guys are proud of me. So this is, you hear this, the little suction? So this is the power steering pump. You guys know that, I said that earlier. So I'm gonna take this off next, and then I'm not gonna take it off from the block yet, or the engine. I'm gonna try to squeeze an impact gun right here, take this nut off, pull this pulley off, because the new pump did not come with a pulley on it. It's just, I have to reuse that one, which sucks. So you guys will see that. That's gonna be fun. All right, so we're gonna do plan B. Just looking at this angle here, that's the socket I have to use for the impact. There's not gonna be enough room because you see that tiny little space? And you see this big old gun. It's a bad boy. 354 foot-pounds of torque just coming at you. So I'm gonna just take the pump off, and we're gonna, you know, take the impact gun and take the pulley off on the floor. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Woohoo! Pump is off, y'all. So what I did was there's two 12mm bolts. Got those loose. Pump came right off. All right, it's time to break this bolt loose. I did not mean bolt. I meant nut. I'm so stupid. All right. Hopefully this works as good as I envision it working. We'll see. Alright, so as you saw, that didn't work too well. So luckily I had these 1/2-inch drive extensions that I'm going to put in here, and it's going to hold it in place. Fingers crossed I don't break anything. Alright, hold on. Look at that, dude. Worked like a freaking charm. Nice. So pulley can be taken off. Praise. Alright, so we're gonna put this guy, make sure it's in the teeth. There's little grooves here. Alright, so the FSM calls for you to have like a table vise, like, you know, that grips it, and like to torque it down while in the vise. Unfortunately, I don't have a table vise. So what I'm going to do is the next best thing, I'm just going to bolt it back on. This still needs to be tightened, but I'm going to bolt this back on, which is what I'm doing now, and then slip these into place, you know, these little extensions in here, and then I'm just going to torque it down while it's on the car. Of course, no belt on this, but and then after that, I'm just going to kind of spray like a rag and kind of clean this with like some degreaser. Make sure it's all clean. It's probably got some power steering fluid from when it was leaking before. Put the seals back on, the little O-rings, put these bolt back on, and then we should be in business, you know what I mean? So also, word of advice, whenever tightening things back up, always finger tighten it. Like start it off with your fingers, and then finger tighten it with like your socket, up to a point, like make sure it feels like it's not cross-threading. Because if you cross-thread something, I swear, man, it sucks, because that turns a 20-minute job into possibly a couple days worth of jobs. I mean, you have to rethread it. Depending on the location, you may have to take other things off to even be able to rethread it. I mean, you don't want to do any of that. Like, that just sounds like so much work. All right, so should be all nice and secure. I'm gonna tighten that bolt here. It is, I can't even look at it before, guys. I'm so sorry. 19 millimeter. Bada bing, bada boom. Put a little wrench on that bad boy. Not a wrench, sorry.
A ratchet.
Alright, so I got this longer 1/2 inch extension holding it in place, and then I'm just gonna tighten this nut, get that pulley nice and secure. You know, try not to put tons of force down, but I mean, of course, you want to make sure it's torqued down, because this is a spinning part and spins with the engine, so you want to make sure that it is not going to fly off, because that would be bad. Alright. Alright, she's tight. She is tight. So we're going to go and put everything back on with the belt, the hose, and then the outlet there. So. Alright, so I really love this pick tool. If you can see it in focus here. But basically, what I'm going to do is just kind of pick this O-ring off. This needs to be replaced. Woo! Look at that, dude. I'm about to freaking break myself. Alrighty. This is taking way too... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I pulled it off. Alright, so we're going to make sure this is cleaned as best as possible before putting the new O-ring on. So you want to make sure it has a good seal. Here's the new O-ring. We're just gonna slide that on. Just gonna roll it on there. Bada bing, bada boom. So that is solid. This other O-ring is actually gonna go on this hose fitting that I popped off earlier. This one's actually pretty easy, but I do want to clean this just in case. But I don't think this one is as likely to leak, because there isn't a whole lot of, there's not as much pressure on this side as there is on the high pressure side. So I don't think it's as critical, but it's always important regardless. So, all right, those are on. I'm gonna bolt them on. Take off these little caps here that the new pump came with. Honestly, a little needle nose pliers can take those off, and then we'll put everything back on. Alrighty. One cap, Toss that in the trash. And 2 caps. 2 caps. Come on. You gotta be freaking joke. 2 caps. Bolt on this piece. That just should kind of, let's see. Come on, buddy. It's on. Put the bolts in. Finger tight, everyone. Remember, you don't want to cross thread anything, especially on this, because then if you cross thread it, oof, woof, no thank you. So finger tighten these in. And then we'll tighten them down with the ratchet. This is a 10 millimeter. Get that 10 millimeter, suck it on that bad boy. Then when we get it torqued down, you don't want to get it stupid tight, but you want it to be tight enough. All right, pressure side is on. So getting this tightened up, make sure it's, you know, nice and snug. And then slide the hose on. And son of a... Yes. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then we're gonna put the hose in. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, so I'm just gonna spray a little degreaser on the on a rag. I'm just gonna wipe this pulley before I put the belt on. So I don't want it to be, you know, slipping off or anything like that. So we'll get that cleaned up. Make sure it's all good to go. Alright, let's go and put the belt on. Now you want to always check that it's in the right grooves before, you know, like it's in the right formation of it before trying to slide it on, because if it's off by a groove, it could tear up your whole belt. You don't want that. So I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, guys. We got the belt on using my snap-on tool. I'm just kind of making sure everything's lined up to ensure, you know, there's no like issues with the belt before I start it up. All right, so hooking up the reservoir, slide that puppy in. There's a little hose down below here. You slide that on, and then we're just gonna bolt it back. Oh, you gotta be kidding! Alright, so next up we're gonna go and fill the reservoir up with some Honda specific fluid. Then we're gonna go and bleed the system, so I'm gonna have to jack the car up and then turn the wheel full lock about, you know, 20-30 times to make sure that all the air is out of the system, and then just refill anything, like, you know, any of the, if the fluid starts to drop, I'm gonna have to fill up, you know, keep filling it up as it bleeds the air out. Look how clear that fluid is. Alright, so the vehicle is jacked up, and the purpose of this is, of course, like when you're turning back and forth, because you're doing it so much in one place, it's just to avoid like a spot, like you wearing a specific spot on your tire, because you will chew up the tires as you're turning full lock back and forth, and it could make it uneven, like the tread uneven. So to avoid that, you jack it up. It only takes a few minutes. Time to crank it up and do the wheel lock. All right, so we will crank it up. All right. Crank it all the way to the left. Crank it all the way to the right. Alright, so we're done with the car. It's running good, it's smooth, there's no more noises when I turn the wheel. Pretty sweet. And now, time to celebrate with a nice cold brewski that we're also going to review. And today, I've got the Tropical Oberon. Super delicious from Bell's. They're located in Michigan, Comstock, more specifically. And so they have a little tropical wheat ale that I'm going to try out here. And while I'm drinking it, I'm also going to rep their little sunglasses that go with it so I can feel a little cooler. And you guys can't tell if I'm not looking at the camera or not. So let me find my bottle cap opener, because it's one of those fancy beers that require a bottle cap opener. You guys, I'm so stupid. It was in my pocket. See, that's why I was probably, because it was the sunglasses. All right. Oof, yes. So, now I am a beginner when it comes to beer reviews. So, I'm going to do this. This is going to be a growing thing with us. So, as my viewers watch, you're going to see me kind of become more sophisticated when I do these beer reviews. But, you know, so again, it's going to be a beginner's review. So again, this is a Tropical Oberon ale. It's a wheat ale with mango, guava, and passion fruit. So it should be, you know, a great summertime beer. It shouldn't be too heavy. It should be fruity. It should be notes of fruitiness, but maybe not too many notes. And it's such a pretty design. I mean, if you look, I mean, it's got all these, you know, very pastel colors. So it almost looks kind of faded because the Oberon logo normally is like orange and blue. But this one has, you know, like the pink and this like light green there. It does smell sour, a little sour. I do smell some sweetness from the wheat. Let me get some oxygen breathing through the drink. Oh yeah, that's good. And as it starts warming up, it's really hot out. You know, you start getting more of the fruity flavors. It is 5.8%, so it's not too bad as far as like alcohol contents. You know, it comes in 6-packs. I don't know if they come in 12-packs. You should be able to get it from your liquor store. I haven't seen it like at Walmart or Target, but who knows? You might be lucky and have that near you. So overall, I mean, this is a pretty solid beer. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were entertained. I hope you were informed. If you have some pointers about how I can get better, whether it be with like public speaking, how to fix my car, how I conduct my beer reviews, way the cameras film, like how I'm, you know, my shots and stuff like that. I want to hear them. I need to get better. I want to get these, you know, to a certain degree. So I'd love to hear some feedback. But again, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And yeah, again, please subscribe. Please have your friends subscribe. Please have your family members subscribe. Please have your pets. If your pets have a profile on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, have them subscribe. I want to know. I want them to be watching. I want them, you know, have your cat in the background, just meow meow, checking out these videos. They might be a little bored. They're like, I can't drive. Anyways, this is what the heat does to me, guys. Peace.